who
Mhm.
Robby Frank is as a person, and why is he doing what he's doing, and what is his future
Yeah.
focus. Probably, just understand that to start.
Well, the funny thing is that, if you asked me this like a year ago, my motivations were very kind of about reaching up. It was about, just because I was young when I started, because I took massive risks since I was 18. I never had this concept of protecting my assets, protecting what I have. It would always be the most risky, dangerous situations. And it's not, when I say risky, I don't mean like when somebody opens a business and that's risky because it's a new business. I mean like I'm gonna do a lecture that has 800 people in it in 2 weeks, or I lose $30,000, and I have to start from scratch. Kind of risky.
Okay.
Which, by the way, I succeeded.
Oh, great.
um, yeah. So I was like a daredevil, and that got me successful very, very fast. From just when I started, I already started making over $10,000 a month, just because I found the right mentor. I took a loan just to work with him. I took massive risks to learn from him. When you get a mentor, you pay him a lot, and that's like a big risk. I actually took about $4,000 and paid him, and then I took another $10,000. I don't remember. I don't know how exactly the amount translates to dollars, but it took about $10,000. And I said, okay, I'm going to move into a hotel that's going to cost me $800 a day. And mind you, this is me when I was making 2,000 a month.
Wow.
And basically, I have 2-3 weeks to take what he teaches me and get some shit going, or else I'm gonna lose so much money. It's gonna take me 2 years just to get it back.
Yeah.
So that's how I started. Like, that's literally how I started. Now, of course, I took many smaller risks before that, but financially, that's how I started. So
Wow.
I was like a big risk taker, and my motivation were always like multiply, 10x, like 10 times more risk, 10 times more reward, 10x, 10x, 10x. And I would spend like crazy. I would spend about 120% of what I made. So I would always be in a deficit. So if I made $5,000, I'd spend 6,000. If I made
Wow.
10,000, I'd spend 12,000. I made 15,000, and so on. It went up to like $30,000. Now, at some point, luckily, fairly early, um, I had a bad bet. So, you start believing you're invincible. You keep taking these risks,
Yeah.
and eventually, because you believe that, if you just burn the boats, that saying, like, where you have like no way of turning back anymore.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a do or die commitment.
Yeah.
Then I'll just be successful. I'll just commit to it. I create a situation where I have no choice,
Mhm.
and if I fail, I die. So, it feels like you'll die. So it's like 100% foolproof. But I'm like the guy who's like who looks at you and he's like, "But what if you fail?"
Mhm.
And not like the mediocre people who are like, "Oh, it's dangerous." I'm like, "No, you have a chance of failing. Like, did you accept that risk?"
Right.
And truth be known, I didn't. So when I had my first big failure, I lost $20,000 in a day, and
Wow.
then I said, okay, so no, I had a call with a potential client today, and he said, what do you think about Plan Bs?
Yeah.
Like, about having a Plan B if Plan A fails. So
Yeah.
I told him I always have a Plan B, and Plan B is if Plan A fails, do the bigger thing, like plan bigger. So back then it was like, okay, so the $20,000, I lost $20,000. It failed. The risk failed.
Mhm.
So instead of fixing the problem and then trying again, maybe,
Yeah.
um, it's like, imagine you're wounded, and so instead of healing the wound, you do it even harder. So
Yeah.
I took a bigger risk,
Mm.
with a but not like a twice bigger risk, like a 10 times bigger risk with a 10
Wow.
times bigger reward. And then in the span of like 3 months, I ended up losing over $100,000, which for a guy who spent almost everything he made and relied on income, that was devastating, you know.
Yeah.
So today, you asked what motivates me. I'm much wiser. I'm about the growth. I want to grow as fast as possible. I want to see every single area of my life grow, but I've gotten more grounded, where it's like I came full circle. It's like, when I was 18, I learned about habits and how, consistent daily small habits, like an apple a day, 10 push-ups a day, small things like that. If you just do them consistently
Yeah.
over a long time, they'll make the biggest difference.
Yeah.
And then I got bored of it. So I said, fuck it. I want to take massive action. So I said, fuck the consistency. I want to make it in a bang. Like I want to do like the up thing, like bam. But the thing is, when you do it, if you can't support that growth, that fast growth, so you have, a small growth from the consistency alone, just, one apple a day, 10 push-ups a day, 5 minutes of meditation, small growth.
Yeah.
Then you have the super massive, extremely dangerous, risky, leveraged type of action, which looks like this. But the thing is, any growth, you have to support it with more actions.
Right.
So this is impossible. You can't do this and keep doing it because let's say, it's like playing Russian roulette. Like, so the first time doesn't work, it works. Second time works. Third time works. You want to fail as fast as possible, because actually the longer it takes you to fail,
Yeah.
the harder you'll fall.
Right.
So I'm glad I didn't fail at the millions, because then I don't know if I would have been able to bounce back.
Right.
So today what I'm focused on is, and my biggest inspiration is, like, take every single area of your life that you want to be better at. And don't be like one of these guys who are like, when I take care of my money, then I'll take care of my fitness. No, everything. Like, what do you want from life? Imagine you had everything. What do you want? So I want health. I want to feel good. I want to look good. I want to be famous. I want to make a lot of money. I want to read a lot. I want to learn a lot. So just take all your goals, make them into daily habits. And then instead of doing the slow growth from consistency, or the risky growth, that's, again, it's not sustainable. So if it's going to go up and then it's going to crash, there's no point.
Yeah.
I want to see, like, how do I dumb it down? Like, how do I make sure I grow as fast as possible, like as high as possible, but make it consistent? And that's how I developed the philosophy of massive, consistent daily action. So, some people are going to tell you take massive action. Some people are going to tell you, just be consistent. I tell you, do both. And that's why I do what I do, which, uploading 5 videos a day, meditating for an hour every day, reading 2 hours every single day, tons of Instagram posts, tons of Instagram activity, just many, many more habits that I do on a massive, massive scale. And I do them every single day, 7 days a week.
Right.
So that's my motivation today. It's just, it's a lot more dumber. It's like, I don't want to think about it too much. I don't want it to be confusing. I don't want to guess too much. I don't want to risk too much unless I see an opportunity that's, smart, not just hasty. And, I want it to be so that I can look at what I did and just look at anybody else and say, hey, like, literally, this is what I did, like A, B, C. I just did that, and you can do it too. And you'll get the exact same, around that area of around the same results.
Yeah. Makes sense. That makes sense. Are you already recording this, or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've not recorded this, so.
No, you don't need to. I'll send you the recording.
Oh, okay.
Or something.
Perfect. Good. So, so what is your goal? Like, you're helping people. Look, I see that you have already, made very good progress, in terms of YouTube followers, in terms of Instagram followers.
Yeah.
So what is the number one probably question is, what is your goal? Okay. probably in 2 or 3 years? And where do you see yourself probably 10 years down the line? I mean, if you have people like me who was still trying to follow you and getting inspired from you, doing a lot of activity, what is it that we can
Well, this might be a bit of a controversial answer, but I mean, I don't really have like a whole I just take my vision.
yeah,
Like, what do I want in my life? Like, say I could have had anything.
yeah,
I can have anything. Money's not an issue.
yeah,
What do I want? So I said, okay, I want to be famous. I want to lecture in front of thousands of people. I want to write 500 books in my lifetime. I
wow,
want to, and not like short ebooks, but books.
yeah,
um, I want to be world renowned. I want to hang out with the most successful people in the world. I want to travel. I don't remember if I said it, but I want to have the best body and most amazing body possible. I want to have peace of mind. I want to have clarity. I want to be super smart and many more. And I'm not like, one day I'll get there. I'm my goal is my motivation. My goal is the same today as it will be probably in a decade or two. It's simply progressive realization of my ideals. So I don't have a goal for 2 years from now or 3 years or 10 years, because frankly, I don't know. I don't look at it like there's me and then there's a goal and then it's a moment that happened. Like I achieved the goal. I look at it like a spectrum where you get closer and closer to the ideal of that goal.
yeah,
So for example, I'm aiming for 10 million YouTube subscribers, which I'll need about 1 billion views for that.
right,
I probably won't get to that, but I'm aiming for it.
yeah,
I'll keep moving until I get there.
yeah,
Um, so I don't, I constantly look at the future, but it doesn't change. And I don't put a date on it. I just look at how I want my life to look. And I look at what I did today. And I ask myself, did I? Of course, it's written down the things I need to do, so I don't need to guess if I did it. But did I do the things today that moved me the best step forward that I could take? That's it. And you say, oh, just a step. It's like, okay, but then I'll do it again tomorrow, and then again the next day, and then again the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So, by the time you ask me a month from now, Robby, or a year from now, Robby, how are you towards your goals? Like, how's what's changed? I'm like, nothing changed. I'm still taking daily actions, still moving one step closer every time. The biggest step I can take right now, because if I, for example, with my goal of speaking weekly to crowds of over 1,000 people, I'm not going to be able to do that right now. But am I able to maybe provide content, speak with people, work with clients, progressively realize that? Of course. So, so that's the action that I take daily. And then as the audience grows, again, I used to public speak a lot, but I did it in one country. But now I'm expanding internationally, so it takes more time. You need more pieces, more fans everywhere.
yeah,
That you actually have enough so you can actually go to cities and public speak just by the demand.
right, right,
So, so everything is being progressively realized every single day. So I don't look at 2 years from now, 10 years. I just look at now and the ideal,
ultimate,
like
yeah,
the ideal future.
yeah. Okay, okay. Well, that is really, really good, and it's something really to think about, actually. Because for me, I used to break it down in years, 5 years, 10 years. But what you're saying, it's kind of makes sense. You have to see yourself. Where do you want to end up, or where do you want to, what is the end goal? So, really makes sense. Good.
Yeah, I just skip ahead because I found that when you focus on dates, it's actually a problem because you the thing is, the person you are now is not the person you will be a week from now. So when you say, I have a goal for 5 years from now, it's like two different people talking, because the you right now is not the you from 2 years later. Maybe you learn a skill that allows you to get there like 10 times faster.
Right.
So, maybe, and maybe you do it slower.
Yeah.
But so if you're going to set a goal, a deadline, say, okay, 2 years from now, then what I do would be like to set a really hard deadline, like actually make a commitment where there's a risk involved. Like, okay, I have to make it happen in 2 weeks, in 2 months, in 2 years. When you just look at it like, okay, what do I want to happen in 2 years? Probably you'll just limit yourself, because maybe if you just think 10 times bigger, it could happen in 2 months. So
Yeah.
I don't play around with potential. I play around with kind of having the image, like what gets me excited the most right now. And sometimes every once in a while I just get like a burning desire towards a specific thing regarding my vision, my goals, and I'll just put so much effort into that, so it will progress much faster.
Right. Right. Well, that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Good. The next question that I have is, look, I come from a very middle class family, and for years I have been in the state of mind where I'm doing good, I'm fine, I'm better than average people. But after I read the 10x rule, which really kind of opened my mind, and I said, dude, I have to really do a lot to become what I want to become and not live an average life. Now I am trying to help people to realize that same thing, because I come from India, and people are still not so aware that they have so much of potential. They have, so if I have to give you a number, 260 million people, they are in the middle class category. So middle class, out of 260 million, 70%, I'm assuming that they would be living with that average mentality, right? Just getting by, salary, lazy to go beyond their limits and just getting by. That's it. Getting things done.
Mm-hmm.
So my audience is the people who are more likely in sales and in small businesses. So what is the piece of advice that you will give to people like me and other people who have realized that, look, we have been average, we are in sales, we're in business, we need to get ahead in life? What is the piece of advice you will give us?
It just increase your sense of responsibility, because when people say I'm good, first of all, most of the time it's wrong, because I'm good as long as something doesn't go wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
But I once had a guy I sat with, he asked me to come, so to invite me to a restaurant to talk to him. And he told me like, hey, I don't really, money is not really like a thing for me. Like, I don't really care that much about money. And I just, like, in the middle of the restaurant, I just started yelling at him because you need to increase your sense of responsibility, because that, saying, oh, middle class is fine, I'm being taken care of, it's like you're fucking selfish. Like, what about mom?
Yeah.
Is mom still working? Oh yeah. You don't want to give her like another decade or two before she dies of old age, like another decade or two of just kind of resting and being happy that she made you.
Yeah.
What about dad? Okay, does he still have to wash cars every day, or do the mechanic thing? He does whatever he do you think it's fine that mom and dad still need to worry about money and you're good? Do you think that makes fucking sense? And then you increase it a bit more, and then you ask, okay, what about my girlfriend or my wife? Like, again, I'm speaking to men here, but this could be easily applied to women.
Yeah.
Like, be the man. Like, why does your woman have to work?
Yeah.
You don't want to give her the choice whether she wants to work. And then you're like, oh no, but it's an equal society. It's like, yeah, I'm not saying she's not supposed to work. I'm saying, why not give her as your partner? Why not give your partner that ability? And then you expand it more and more. What about your kids?
Yeah.
What sort of an example are you setting for them? To just be average?
Yeah.
You look at your decisions, like for example, let's say you choose to stay at a job you don't like. And then your kid comes up to you, when he's growing up, he's like, hey dad, like I have a job and I have a dream. What should I do?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a hypocrite. um, and then you increase it even more. And then you ask, okay, what about helping people? Dan Pena is one of my mentors, and he taught me, like, Robby, you see, the guys with the billboard, the board, like they hold the signs,
Yeah.
petition and stuff. People are idiots. I mean, if they had money, they could actually make a difference. They wouldn't need to be one of 100 people just standing there, like
The board. Yeah.
they could literally just hire. You could literally hire 100 people on minimum wage just to stand there, like that's what you amount to like a person standing with a board. And so it's just you once you like increase your sense of responsibility, most people can't do that, or they're really afraid to do that, because it's like, I'm vegan, by the way, so it's like people thinking about, the animals, and like I don't even want to think about it, like I'm not even I didn't take care of my shit yet, isn't taken care of. So you want me to think of the animals? No, that's too much right now. So that's what happens when I tell people, like, increase your responsibility zone. What do you take responsibility for? So if your mom has financial issues, it's not her problem, it's your problem.
Yeah.
And if your girlfriend has to work, it's your problem, not her problem.
Yeah.
So then you increase it even more. What about, again, helping people in general? Like, you see a kid starving, in the street, like, you could have helped him, you could have bought him lunch, but money's so tight with you that, you have to choose yourself, and it makes sense, of course, to choose yourself, but why not have more? So people are very afraid of increasing that responsibility zone, because it's like, when you just focus on you, and nothing is wrong, nothing is too wrong in your life. You can be like, oh, I'm fine. But then if I tell you again, what about taking care of your family? Your big, mom, dad, sisters, brothers, everything. It's like, ugh, because you realize, like, oh shit, like, I was resting. I was feeling like, I did my stuff, just like I do every day. I finish my day with all the daily goals. And I honestly feel, and this many years I didn't feel like that, but I honestly feel like, hey, I did my part. Like, I did the best I could. I honestly did everything in every area of my life. But when you realize that, you go like, oh shit, like, I have so much shit that I didn't do. Like, I thought it was, if this is like where you start, this is the finish line. You thought you were here, you're in the start. Like, you're not even at the beginning.
True.
So that gives you that, that fire under your ass.
Perfect.
Start thinking bigger. Not necessarily quit your job, just start thinking bigger.
Yeah. Awesome. No, I like that. Thank you. So Robby, as a person, if you have to stay motivated, what are things that really keeps you going, or what is it that you do? What is it that you consume? I did one video today on not consuming garbage on social media. Like, a lot of people waste time watching things which really probably, help them, watching funny chicken videos, kitten videos, baby videos. Come on, dude, you probably watch some Robby Frank's video, probably you'll get more pumped up. So how do you, stay motivated? What do you watch? I know Grant Cardone is one of your force, motivation force. What else do you do?
Well, I to be honest, I don't get motivated anymore. And Grant Cardone also talks about, the difference between being obsessed and being motivated. Motivation is a feeling. It's when you feel like you want to do something. That, of course, that's not the textbook definition, but for the sake of purpose, how people treat the word, it's I'm motivated. Yeah. To be honest, I'm not motivated. Like, to be honest, every second day I'm depressed or stressed or angry, or it's normal. Like, it's, if people have this fantasy of like have every day happy, it's like the guy at the bottom feels good and feels like shit. The guy at the middle feels good, feels like shit. The guy at the top feels good and feels like shit.
Yeah.
You don't see any CEOs or actors walking, like this. It's, so sometimes I'm bored, but I'll do it anyway. Or sometimes I don't want to go to the gym. I'll just go. I don't want to meditate. I'll just do it anyway. Sometimes, I'm pissed off. I'll just make a video anyway. So I'm not focusing on motivation. I don't need motivation. It's actually when you feel like you need motivation, it's really bad. Like, it means you're looking for ways to not move, because you basically add a new thing that you don't need by default.
Yeah.
Because you decided I need to be motivated, so I need to feel like I want to do this. You're not going to do it until you feel like it. So you just created like a huge constraint on yourself.
Yeah.
But when you kind of accept, like, okay, I can be depressed, I can be unhappy. The day that I realized, and this was so big for me, like, I can be depressed and still do everything. Like, I can be depressed and read, I can be depressed and work out, I can be depressed and meditate, I can be depressed and making videos. And then I realized, like, hey, but so I'm depressed, and then I'm not depressed. But when I'm out of the depression, I still have all the benefits I gained. So you work out, it doesn't matter what your mood was, it matters what you did. Your body doesn't care. And I even realized in some avenues, like videos, the videos are even better when you're like angry or depressed, because you get more emotions into it.
Yeah.
It's more raw. So I don't focus on this, but what I do focus on is, and again, you can show the book because it's very related. So thanks, Grant Cardone. I focus on my, obsession is that thing that you can't stop thinking about. So I'm an obsessed guy. So I always have to obsess with something. At some point it's been obsession with weights. Some point it's been obsession with money. Obsessions with women. Like, I got so obsessed with one girl, I was like possessed, like a demon grabbed me. So now I just choose, because you can choose what to be obsessed about. I choose to obsess over my daily goals. So I have a daily on my iPhone, but you can use an Android too. I have an app. It's called Notes, the default app. On Android, you can use Evernote easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I basically have a daily template where I write down my goals in life, tasks for the day, kind of really things I just need to get done today.
Yeah.
Like, for example, send an email to Grant Cardone's assistant. So it's like one-time activities, and then a quote, which it's my job to look for a quote that will kind of motivate me for the day in the context of what I'm experiencing. So I'll just use that quote and also even post it on Instagram every morning. So it's even part of my routine. And then the big part is the list of daily goals. So it's like a checklist that I need to click on to check off. And it's a list of over 30 things that I do every single day. And I miss at least about one, maybe two every day, but it's never the same one. So I might, today I might, instead of writing 10 pages, I might write 3, or instead of meditating for an hour, I might do it for 20 minutes, or I might even not work out, one time. But all in general, out of the 30 things, I do about 28, maybe 30 every single day.
Wow.
And that's what I'm obsessed about. From the moment I wake up till the moment I go to bed, I focus on the list. I look at the list about, I guess, 100, maybe 200 times a day. I just open it and open it and open it. And every time I do something, it's funny because the motivation comes after, because I do something and then I check it off. I click on it. I see a check mark. I get motivated. I get dopamine. I get,
Mm.
oh, like that's awesome.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I, for example, one of the daily goals is to write an article and to post it on Warrior Forum. So it's 2 goals. So when I do it, it's like bam, bam, and then I feel like, oh, fuck yeah. And then I do a video, and then I do bam, fuck yeah. And then I work out, and while I work out, I listen to an audiobook. And after working out, I always go to the sauna and then take a cold shower. So it's like bam, 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 bam. It's like fuck yeah. So that's how I kind of pump
Awesome.
myself up. It's just by accomplishing.
Yeah.
Um, so I could even be depressed, and on the depressing day, I'll be like, "Oh, I hate everything. This sucks." And I'll do it, and I'm like, "Yeah." Then,
No, this is awesome. This is a big learning for me. I'm glad that we're having this conversation because I never thought of that way. If I'm depressed and if I'm not in mood, I probably will not do that thing. But I realize now if you still get that thing done, when you're in better mood tomorrow, you'll realize, oh, good, I got this thing done. So
it
great.
still counts.
It really still counts, man.
But by
Really.
the way, there's 2 reasons. So yeah, first one is that it still counts, but the second one, and this is a small secret I'll tell you, because sometimes I talk with the universe. You'll find out once you start doing this, and I anybody could take my bet on this. You'll find out that when you do it, even though you're depressed or angry or whatever it is, and you know how before you go to bed you feel kind of, the depression is coming tomorrow.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you're about to go to bed and you already know that tomorrow you're going to be depressed.
Yeah.
When I have that moment, I get happy. I get excited while being depressed, because I'm like, okay, I can feel myself getting depressed, and I get excited because I know one simple truth. I don't know if it's the universe or God or karma or I don't know why, but when you have a day where you're depressed and you still do all the things you needed to do, you get rewarded big time for it. And sometimes it's in things that are, that make sense. Like, for example, your mood gets better, you get happier, you make good things happen, but it's whack, like lucky events. Like that client you couldn't close, if you do everything you needed to do, at the end of the day, he'll call you back and he'll say he wants to pay. That girl you wanted to meet, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
she'll call you. You get lucky when you take action, even though you don't want to. It's like you're building karma or something. So it's always worked for me. There's not been a single day in my life
Right.
where I felt bad. I
Hmm.
took the daily actions and I didn't get lucky in something in my life that day or the next day. Really,
Right.
that simple. And also, one final point before we move on is that the daily habits, they defend me, because I've been through so much shit because of the mistakes I've made, that I had to find a way to protect myself,
Right.
so that if somebody, like, if something happens and it's distracting, and or somebody made me feel really bad and I feel like shit, so I won't go into my bad habits and I don't know, go smoke weed or just say fuck the day, I hate this day, I'm not going to do anything, fuck it, or eat a lot. So it protects me, because no matter what happens, I stick to the list. It anchors me. I call it the anchor factor. And so I get pulled around. You get pulled around life. It's money issues, relationship issues, moods,
Yeah.
random things that happen, horrible people. You get pushed around, but because you're tied with an anchor to the ground, you can't ever be pulled outside of the boundaries.
Right.
Like if this is the boundary, you always stay like in the
Yeah.
boundaries, and you still finish the day strong. So you get power from that. You feel like nothing could stop you, because you really ask yourself, like, what can honestly stop me? Like somebody shooting me, somebody, killing me, somebody, like, that's it. Like, as long as I have free movement, whatever happens in my life, it's secondary. Because, I'm not saying don't deal with it, because I even have a daily goal of dealing with things. So I have a
Yeah.
daily goal that before I go to bed, I have to make sure anybody who contacted me, good, bad, I have to get back to them. Sometimes I don't want to, but I do. So I never leave things, it doesn't mean like don't take care of your life, but what it means is that you force yourself, you force growth, you force it on your health, on your wealth, on your relationships, on everything in your life. You force it to grow. So you feel bad, fuck the bad feeling. You still force yourself to grow. Somebody
Mm.
hurt you, fuck that guy, but I still grow. Money issues, it fucking sucks. I'll deal with it, but I still make sure I grew my income today, or at least I potentially grew my income today, so that whatever happens, as bad as it may be, in a year from now, I'm going to be like, if I'm here, I'll be there in all areas of my life. And
Right.
all the people that, made me feel bad, they're going to be more negative. They're going to hate themselves even more. They're not going to increase their income. The body are going to be, is going to be in less good shape. No, but it's not even because of that. It's just you move forward. So because you know that if right now you have financial problems on this level, but and you're right now on this level, but next year I'm going to be on this level. I'm going to force it. So could it really be that bad? Like, even if I couldn't take care of it now, maybe a month from now I would be able to, maybe 2 months, maybe half a year, maybe a year. But again, you turn time into your ally. So when you look into the future, when they don't see growth in any area of their life and they don't see it happening, that's when they get depressed and desperate and miserable. It's when you look to the future and you don't see anything getting better. But when you force it and you have that discipline and you're going to do it every single day, then you look into the future and it's always bright.
Yeah.
Because you literally realize, unless somebody's gonna like kill me or something,
Mm-hmm.
nobody can stop me from growing. And because I'm not talking about fantasy growing. I'm not talking about one day I'll be a multi-millionaire superstar. I'm talking about
Yeah.
whatever you have, you're going to have more. It's a fact. I'm not saying you work out every day. I'm not saying you're going to be a bodybuilder, but I am saying guaranteed you're going to have a better physique, a better body, better strength. You meditate every day. I'm not saying, you're going to be the Dalai Lama, but you are going to be more relaxed.
Yeah.
Okay. You focus on your growth in marketing and in your sales abilities.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're going to be Warren Buffett, but you're definitely going to make a lot more money.
Yeah. That finally really, really explains the anchor thing. I love it. Love it. And I
Yeah.
will, you know,
And then what I said about the goals, again, you asked me, I told you, like, I don't look into the future. I don't look 2 years, 5 years. I know that if I keep doing this, I'm always going to be growing, which is really what I care about. I just care about, my life getting better and better.
yeah.
And if I'm lucky, I'll hit it big. Okay. So if I'm lucky, I'll get to 10 million subscribers, and if I'm lucky, I'll be worth hundreds of millions. And if I'm lucky, I'll have a body like, like that, the Zac Efron in Baywatch. But even if I don't get there, would you really be that disappointed if you get to age 80 and you're only worth 50 million, or you only have, 500,000 subscribers, or, however, as long as you're growing, you feel good. And sometimes you feel bad because you feel like you're not growing fast enough. And that's just an opportunity to grow even faster.
Right.
So every once in a while, I do my daily habits and I start feeling a bit dissatisfied again, because I'm like, oh, I could do more. So you get used to the, to the pressure, you could say, and then you add a bit more, and then you add a bit more. So even the efforts keep growing. And obviously, once you have employees and you delegate certain things, then you have more time available, then you can add more habits. So, the growth always continues. So everything except your body, because you have to do the work yourself.
Yeah.
Everything except your body can keep growing, even if other people just keep the habit for you and you just pay them.
Very interesting. Yeah, that's a beautiful explanation. Thank you so much. A lot of things to learn, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring people and helping people. I'm really happy that we had this conversation.
Awesome, dude. So that's it. That's all you wanted to know.
That's all, man. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Awesome. Me too. So, can you quickly just tell people about you? Because I actually think you're a really awesome guy. And again, I won't go on this call with just anyone. So when I saw your videos about sales, I was like, well, that's a cool guy.
Same here. Feeling is mutual, man. Feeling is mutual. Yeah. So yeah, I'll talk about little bit about myself then. So my name is Dave Gadhvi. Been an average guy for many years until I stumbled upon Grant Cardone and Red 10X rule. That really opened my eyes. Since then, since I know that I've been average, there's a lot of catching up to do. I really got purpose of my life, which is I am a sales guy, okay, and that's all I know to do, right? So I'm on a mission to help 10 million people. And the question, a lot of people ask me why 10 million. I said, look, I learned from Grant Cardone that if I target my 1 million, I probably will fall short of it and will not look good. As compared to if I target 10 million, if I fall short of that, it's fine. So my goal is to help 10 million people in whatever way or form I can. Things that I've started doing is I've started posting blogs, videos to help people inspire. And that has really changed a lot, me as a person as well. I've started the WhatsApp group where I have 70 plus people who are part of the Winners Club. So that is part of my routine. I share audio tips with them and they inspire me back, right? So it's more like a force which is inspiring me back. Yeah, born and brought up in a very humble family where my father was a truck driver, and me and my brother fortunate enough to get the education in English medium. So look, things which I did not have, the sales mentor which was missing in my life for 13 years, I feel that if I had that force, I could have gone places and I could have made difference to a lot of people's life. And now today I'm in that situation where a little bit of whatever I could have, learned from different people and whatever has been working for me, I'm trying to share that with everybody and see if that makes difference to them and making them aware that the things that I have lost, time which I have lost in last 10, 13 years, I don't want them to lose. Right? I want them to, they can look up to somebody and say, hey, you know what, that guy is accessible. They can have a mentor like Grant Cardone, but is he accessible to everybody? He's not, right? So I can be that person, probably a soundboard to a lot of people, and I'm still doing that. I've started receiving a lot of appreciation from people. Out of 70 people who are there on WhatsApp group, probably 50 people I don't even know them, but still, I'm connected through them. I'm still just, still learning, still growing, long way to go. But that's about me. Working with a market research company as an associate director, and hoping to make big someday, just like you. So thank you, really, it's an honor. Thank you that you took time and we speaking, having this conversation.
Sure. It's my pleasure. And it's also very rare to come up with somebody who's kind of as genuine as you, humble and genuine, which is a really cool thing. So, yeah, anybody who's interested in sales,
Yeah,
that's what I personally most like about your content. Of course, not just sales, like just do this, but like sales and kind of inspirational thinking about sales. Then, yeah, I definitely recommend you check the guy out.
thank you.
Awesome.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Great talking.
Pleasure. My pleasure. Ravi, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Sure. Bye bye.
Take care.